Today we're finally going to get started on our Tandemkross Smith & Wesson Victory build series, and that is definitely a mouthful. As we all know, YouTube isn't a big fan of us showing taking firearms apart and putting them back together again, and that's why I have created a separate video showing installation instructions for these parts, and I went ahead and hosted it over on my website. There's a link down below if you want to check that out, as well as links to the actual products used. What we're building here is the ultimate Smith & Wesson Rimfire race gun, and no, it's not quite finished. We still have a ways to go. We're going to get this party started with a couple of parts that Tandemkross sent directly to me. Now, disclosure is important, so before we dive into this any further, let's go ahead and get that part out of the way. I reached out to Tandemkross and they agreed to sponsor this video by sending some parts out to me for review. That of course does not guarantee a favorable review. If anything, that just means that I look harder for things to complain about. Spoiler alert, I didn't find much in the way of negatives. Tandemkross is set out to make it easy and affordable for you to build your own custom race gun, not just for use in competitions, but also for recreational shooting. On their website, you're going to find parts for all kinds of guns, not just the Smith & Wesson Victory. You can get parts for various Ruger pistols, 1022s, Brownings, Smith & Wessons, CZ Scorpions. Look, just head over to my site and check out Tandemkross if you haven't already. Link below. The first upgrade I want to talk about today is the Tandemkross Halo charging handle. This guy right here. Halo, it's an absolute must-have for this gun. Most of my viewers already know that I absolutely love Smith & Wesson, but at times it feels like the Victory is one of those projects where they got 3/4 of the way through the design phase and then just, I don't know, lost their motivation, threw it together the rest of the way and said, screw it, send it off to market. I find that when charging this gun, more often than not, my hand slips right off of the back of it. There's nothing to really grab a hold of other than these ridges here. And even at that, they're not really, I don't know, deep enough to really get a good grip on. The Halo gives you plenty to grab a hold of so that you can quickly charge the weapon without slipping or fumbling around. Not only that, but it's a quick and simple install. It slips right over the bolt and then has a single Allen screw that holds everything in place. Nice and secure. Now that I have the Halo installed on my Smith & Wesson Victory, there is no way in hell that I could ever go back to the stock configuration. I just couldn't do it. No thank you. Now the big upgrade that Tandemkross sent me was the Spitfire barrel and Pro Comp combo. My Victory didn't come with a threaded barrel. It's as basic and entry level as it gets. In fact, this is the stock barrel that came on it. Now the barrel itself wasn't horrible or inaccurate. I just wanted something better. I wanted to be able to put a compensator on it or possibly use a suppressor, and if at all possible, increase my accuracy, even if it's by a slight margin. Not only does the Spitfire look cool, but it also gives me a threaded end to be able to use whatever accessories I like. I could still use the stock front sight post, and it has a thumb rest built into it. The thumb rest? That's the only thing that I think could actually use some work with this combination. It's the one negative that I have on this review, and really, it's more of a personal annoyance than an actual deal breaker. Now what's great about that thumb rest is that it is multi-position, so you can move it forward or you can move it back to get that perfect fit for your individual hands. The other thing is, because it comes pre-installed on the barrel, there's no need, like a lot of the other thumb rests that are out there, to go ahead and drill and thread holes onto your frame to mount a thumb rest. The thing that bothers me though is the texture. It's smooth, like incredibly smooth, when it should have some sort of checkering on it. The more aggressive, the better. You really don't want your thumb slipping off of there, and if it's hot or humid or whatever the case may be, maybe your hands are getting sweaty, I could see it potentially getting a little on the slippery side. Now, somewhere in this mess that I call an office, I have some grip tape. It was less than $5 for the package through Amazon, I believe. That's my fix to this whole thing, and it's not a big deal, really. Not everybody likes a super aggressive texture, and maybe that's why Tandemkross made that thumb rest so as smooth as it is. If you like something that has a bit more grip, just hit up your local hardware store or Amazon for some sort of grip tape, and it's really simple to just put a piece on that thumb rest, cut out the outside edges, and At that point, you've got all the grip in the world. Do we need a thumb rest on a 22? Maybe not, or maybe we do. After all, this isn't some sort of concealed carry or personal defense weapon. The idea behind this gun is speed and accuracy. Whatever you can do to make this thing more comfortable and get your shots off faster, that's the entire name of the game. The thumb rest, it basically just gives you a place to put your thumb, to press down, stabilize, and mitigate what recoil this gun does have in the first place. You combine that with the Tandemkross Pro Comp, and what you have is a smooth shooting and accurate pistol. As far as the comp goes, it's a fairly simple design. It has 2 ports on each side. The barrel does come with a locking ring that screws on before the comp does to be able to back it up and tighten it down all the way. Between the actual design of the compensator and that little bit of extra weight that you gain at the very front of the gun, it really does make a world of difference in how this gun handles. Again, this is a 22 long rifle. It's not a 10mm. It's not a 357 or any other large caliber handgun. In its stock configuration, it is a good little gun. It's accurate. There isn't much, if any, recoil. It's fun. It's fairly reliable. The thing is, though, is once you start putting these Tandemkross parts on a gun, it's like the difference between driving a V6 Camaro and a Super Sport Camaro. It's the same car, but it's really not the same car. Another thing to mention with the Spitfire barrel is this window that's cut into it. The barrel has a sleeve around it with the window cut, and that is supposed to help with heat dissipation. And if I'm being honest, yeah, it makes it look pretty friggin' cool. As cool as it looks, how does it perform? That's the question of the day. Now, personally, I am struggling with the mags for this gun. I have been since I got it. The mags for my Victory, they haven't fed reliably since the day that I picked it up. So as far as feeding goes, I am having similar issues currently with the Spitfire barrel as I was with the stock barrel, and that is everything to do with these magazines. It actually wasn't until just the other night that I came across a video explaining how to tune these magazines. So I'm hoping here in the next couple of days I can find the time to take them apart and start modifying them so that they actually run properly. Yes, I could send the entire weapon and magazines back into Smith & Wesson and have them take a look at it. God knows how much time that's going to take. It's a frustration that I don't want to deal with personally, so I will just tune the mags, see if that works, and hopefully call it a day afterward. So I have had the Victory on the range, I don't know, a half dozen times now. I believe I have somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,500 to 3,000-ish rounds through it since putting the Spitfire barrel combo on there. Let me tell you, you don't know struggle until you've tried to put that many rounds of 22 long rifle through a gun through 10-round mags that feed poorly. I can say, though, that this Halo charging handle made my life a hell of a lot easier. You know, at first it seems awkward and oversized. The first time that I saw it on the Tandemkross website, I really didn't know what to think. I can tell you, though, that once you've used it for a couple of times, your entire perception of it will change. It was designed in such a way that you can quickly charge the weapon without slipping or fumbling or, you know, missing the back end like you would in its stock configuration. Remember, this gun is essentially being built for steel challenges, which means two things: speed and accuracy. The Halo gives you both a speedy and accurate way to charge your weapon in whatever conditions that you may find yourself in. As expected, the Spitfire barrel has worked flawlessly through all the rounds that I've put through it. Now, as you can see, I did take the stock fiber optic sight off of the stock barrel and put onto the Spitfire. That was quick and easy. They even provide a new screw and an Allen wrench for it. Right now, I'm sticking with the iron sights while I make that decision on whether or not I want to go red dot. For now, the iron sights are doing well. In fact, I have added the rear Peep sight that Tandemkross has available on their website. So far, so good with that. In the next video, I will go over this rear Peep sight a little bit more, as well as this ridiculously comfortable grip that I got from Tandemkross. So this barrel, you know, it is just about the coolest thing that's out there. Someone on one of my social media accounts referred to this as a Star Wars blaster, and I'm okay with that. In fact, if I decide to Cerakote this when it's all said and done with, I think that may play a factor into the theme. You know, this barrel, it is accurate. It really is. And even though it doesn't look like it would be, it's actually pretty balanced for what it is. It is so hard to do these reviews where there's so many little parts that go into the performance of a gun or of a package. What do I think of the Spitfire barrel, or the Pro Comp, or the thumb rest? I don't feel like it's fair to judge them as individual components. Really, they're a performance package for the Smith & Wesson Victory. Sure, you can buy all these parts that I have on my Victory separately, but together is where they get their strength. Do you have a 22 long rifle that you're looking for a comp for? Yes, the Tandemkross Pro Comp does an excellent job at mitigating recoil. I put it on a couple of guns just to kind of test it out and see how it works, and there's a noticeable difference. I did not drop the comp on a scale to see exactly how much it weighs, and honestly, its weight doesn't really matter. That's just a number being pulled from thin air. What matters is how it feels in the hand, which can't be measured with a number. What I can tell you is that the added weight that the comp adds to the end of the barrel, it feels natural. It doesn't feel like suddenly I have a brick taped to the end of my gun. But you can definitely tell the difference. You can definitely tell that there is something out there at the end of the barrel. Now that's a plus, because having that little bit of extra weight out at the end is going to help smooth out your recoil, especially when taking multiple shots on multiple targets in fast succession. That added weight, along with the ports on the Pro Comp, the thumb rest, I'm telling you, if you own a Smith & Wesson Victory, you need to put this on your gun. It's an entirely different experience than shooting with your stock barrel, and it's worth every penny and then some. Now, as far as this Halo charging handle goes, they do have it for multiple other guns, not just the Smith & Wesson Victory. So I suggest you just head over to the site, check it out, and see if they have a Halo for the gun that you use. So far, this build is turning out to be really impressive. I have a few more parts that I need to go ahead and order before I start considering it as being done, but we are on our way to it. All right, thanks everybody for watching, and I will be back very soon.